want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man. How the heck are you? It is the Monty Show on Wednesday, January 12th, 2022. Hey, Jake.
Hello.
Average to see you this morning.
Thanks.
Everybody. A lot to get to today. I'm getting a COVID test. I'm doing it. I know. I've got this cough, and they say one of the Omicron deals is a persistent worsening cough.
Uh-huh.
Would you say it is worsening, though? I mean, you're around me every day. You see my sex. I mean...
I see your sex.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't feel like it's worsening, but I'm also not... I don't work next to you all day.
I don't cough most of the day.
Like, having congestion or, like, a frog in your throat when you wake up doesn't mean you have COVID. But, I mean, I don't know. So I say, just like we discussed yesterday, who the hell knows?
Well, your significantly better half is infected, so,
Infection.
Yeah. We'll see. So we'll talk about that coming up. Again, I would encourage you, check out our affiliate links below. Everything from the at-home COVID test that we use, our Rockstar, our bars, like you name it, our Emergen-C. By the way, I keep taking the Emergen-C.
Yeah.
We'll see if it helps. It's 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. All those links are below. Make sure you check them out. And now, thus, we must start with the NBA. Speaking of infection. Why? Well, are you saying that was not appropriate?
It was not appropriate.
Speaking of inappropriate, how about the behavior of your Utah Jazz? Coming off what is arguably the worst road trip of the Quinn Snyder era and an embarrassing loss in Detroit the other night, the Cleveland Cavaliers of Cleveland invade the Vivint Arena tonight in what a lot of people want to classify as a must-win game. Nah, not a lot of people. I don't think this is a must-win game, but it sure would be nice to get a win tonight against the Cavs. And when you look at where the Jazz are, Jake, do you feel like they've fallen out of, I don't know, is it respect? Do you believe that they're still one of the top teams in the NBA?
Well, I mean, yeah, they're by stat and by rank and by win-loss column they are. I mean, they're 28-13, like they're in a fine place. But the truth is they've done nothing to make the league respect them. They've done nothing to make it so that other teams have to be like, yeah, wow, this is a team that we have to fear. I mean, there's no question about how to beat the Jazz anymore, and that's the issue. And so, if you're looking just at the Western Conference win-loss column, you've got the Suns at 31-9, the Warriors at 30-10, then you've got the Jazz at 28-13, and the Grizzlies at 29-14, and then you've got this huge fall off to the Mavericks at 22 wins. So yeah, I mean, the Jazz by win-loss record are still one of the best teams in the league. But when we're talking about the grouping of those four teams in the West, the other three teams have no reason to fear the Jazz, I mean, again, and people were not amused. You said this earlier in the week, but I think it's so true. That series that the Jazz had against the Grizzlies last year probably goes a different way this year.
Wait. Stop right there.
Yeah.
Put some respect on that Ja Morant name.
Yeah, dude. Buddy is...
Come on.
Yeah, dude.
Come on. Tell me how great I am.
Yeah, you're great.
Tell me how smart I am.
You're great.
Tell me how good looking I am.
Yeah, you're just the sex goddess of everything.
Good looking I am. Anyway, how about the Memphis Grizzlies?
Yeah.
They did your boy Steph dirty last night.
Yeah, they did.
I'm telling you, that team is for real.
Desmond Bane.
I feel like I have been the lonely man on the train all season long on the Memphis Grizzlies on this show.
Uh-huh.
And I think last night they continue to back that up. And this to the point about the Jazz is,
yeah,
I don't believe they're a top 5 team in the Western Conference right now.
Well, again, so looking at the other teams in the league that could potentially be a top 5 team. You've got. Again, the Nuggets are 20-19. The Nuggets are 8 wins behind the Jazz. You've got the Lakers at 21-20, right? 7 wins behind the Jazz. You got the Clippers at a 500 team right now. 21-21. Like these teams, are just not performing. They're not doing what the Jazz have done, but it's like this weird dynamic with the Jazz. Hey, you're a 28-win team right now, which is good for third in the West. hey, that's something to be proud of. But, again, you're just not – nobody fears you. That's the thing. That's the hard part, You are a good team. Yes, you are one of the best teams in the Western Conference, but nobody fears you in the postseason. John Morant's not scared. Steph is not worried. Devin Booker is not worried. And that's got to change. And I don't know, again, I feel like, I know this is probably a tired conversation, but this is why bringing in something fresh to this roster is so important, because if you can do that and get some fresh energy on the team, maybe that changes your fortunes.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick right now, top teams in the West.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly Golden State. I think certainly Phoenix, even though Devin Booker's busy fighting with mascots in Toronto last night. Like, look, Book's my dude, but that was weak shit. Like, I do not know what he was looking at right there. It's a mascot, bro. Who cares? Like, if that's going to distract you from making a free throw, you're weak. And that was a weak moment for my guy.
Yeah.
Admittedly.
Yeah.
But I think Golden State and the Suns are by far the two best teams in the NBA and in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of parity after that. I actually would put Memphis third right now. If we're really looking at the hierarchy and the best of the best in the Western Conference, as we stand today on January 12th, I can't put the Clippers there. In May, are we going to put the Clippers there? Yeah, we probably are.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the last 10 games for these teams, right? I mean, obviously the Grizzlies are hot. They've won their last 10. They're 10-0 in their last 10. Great. But you've got, and this is what I think is really interesting, the consistency of the other three teams at the top of the West. The Suns are 6-4 in their last 10. The Warriors are 6-4 in their last 10. The Jazz are 6-4 in their last 10. But the difference is the Jazz have lost their last 3, right? The Warriors obviously just lost to Memphis. So, I don't know. These teams, like the NBA season is a marathon. It's going to have ebbs. It's going to have flows, ups and downs. But it just feels like, the Jazz are in this odd position because of how many guys are in protocol, and because when Rudy's not on the floor, there's a lot of exposure to how weak the perimeter defense is.
That's right.
And it brings, there's this middle ground we have to find. Like, I feel like after the Pistons lost, the way they lost that game, there was a lot of, hey, this team is Rudy and everybody else. The defense sucks. Don wasn't good enough. Like, I feel like the fan base was very negative. And it is warranted. A lot of that stuff is warranted. But then, what are we going to say next week when they, tear off 5 in a row? And that's the tough part about this team. They're going to bounce back. They are. But that bounce back when you get into the postseason just isn't enough. And that's the problem.
Do you trust the Utah Jazz?
No.
Right now I don't. And I just go back to what we talked about yesterday on the show as far as Rudy. And, hey, it's cool that Rudy's your MVP, and if in fact that it is the case that Rudy's your most valuable player on this team, right now, the way they're built, I think it's hard to argue that.
Mm-hmm.
But if that is indeed the situation, you're not a title contender. Because, again, I don't think Rudy Gobert can be the best player on your team or the most important player, the MVP of your team, and you win a championship, because he's just not dynamic. He is not a guy that, outside of his defense, and really, let's be honest, outside of rim and paint protection, Rudy Gobert is a very limited contributor. And, you look at the high pick and roll, that's not going to work in the postseason. We've proven that. We've seen that. This is not one of the elite teams. And again, if I look up and down the standings right now, just in the West, I think you have 3 teams that are better than the Utah Jazz. In the East, I'm certainly taking the Chicago Bulls the way they're playing right now. DeMar DeRozan's playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
You want to talk about MVPs? I mean, DeMar DeRozan is now finally getting MVP consideration.
Yeah.
Right? So I think they're playing very well. I look at the way that the Miami Heat are playing, whether Jimmy's on the floor or not. Mm-hmm. That's a very difficult team to account for. Are they better than the Utah Jazz?
I'm not ready to say they're
Probably
better.
not.
I think they're even.
Probably, right?
Even or a touch below.
But who's the elephant in the room in the East? Well, it's the Milwaukee Bucks. Are the Milwaukee Bucks better than the Utah Jazz?
Yeah.
I would think so at this point. I mean, the way that Giannis is shooting the ball, it's no longer, hey, he's hot. Giannis Antetokounmpo has turned himself into a pretty good shooter.
Yeah.
They're a force to be reckoned with. So that's 5 right there. And, oh, by the way, don't forget about the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know what the Nets are. With Harden out with this knee injury now, Kyrie complaining about Nasir Little trying to break his ankle. Like, I don't know what the Brooklyn Nets are. And honestly, if that game's in Salt Lake City, I don't know that the Brooklyn Nets come in here and win.
Yeah, well, I think the thing for the Nets in that situation is the problem is that they're not a great defensive team, and the Jazz are the number 1 offensive team in the league at 115 points a game. So that's not a recipe for success if you're the Nets. So,
Yeah.
But I think that, on the other side of that, the talent, and this is the game the Nets play, and this is what the bet that they made essentially, which is we're not going to be an elite defensive team, but we're going to put up 130 points a night on you, and when they're at full strength, they do that. So I think that'd be a fascinating series.
I'd have to lean to the Jazz in that. I mean, I'd have to know who's healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, if Kyrie would play in that game, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty even. I'd probably lean to the Jazz.
Yeah.
But anyway, all of that to say, I don't think the Jazz are top 5. Are they top 10? Certainly. But I look at the way, excuse me. Why am I getting COVID
Bro, are
tested?
you okay?
It drives me crazy. This little cough drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
not.
dude.
It's not
frustrating.
some major thing. It's just this little cough that
Hanging
sneaks
out.
up on you.
It's hanging around.
But if you look at the Philadelphia 76ers right now, that's why I say this Cavalier game tonight's not a must-win. This is a game you need to win, though.
Yeah.
You're playing against a team that is elite defensively in the Cleveland Cavaliers. They are very good defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I think they give up around 102 something points a game.
Yeah.
You score 115.
Well, and they're only 5 wins behind you. It's not like they're a 10-win team. They got 23 wins.
But how do they generally, if you look at the Cleveland Cavaliers, and this is why this game will be interesting tonight. This is a game that, in my mind, the Jazz should win by double digits.
Yeah.
This should be a 10-point win.
Yeah.
Only it's not a 10-point win. Because of the way the Jazz play, the way that they're built, and now with Rudy, in and out of the lineup.
Yep.
You see what they're not defensively without Rudy Gobert. And I look at guys like Garland, what Evan Mobley's giving them.
Yeah. Well, and he's the classic issue for the Jazz, right? I mean, Evan Mobley is, what is he, 6'9" or something like that? He's got tremendous length for his position. And he can do things, and he can cause issues.
6'11", 215 pounds.
6'11". I mean, that's incredible length out of a 3-4 hybrid player. He's not a 5, but he's a 3-4 hybrid
He's a
guy.
3-4 because he's not a big physical player, but
Yeah.
he's in the right place at the right time.
So
but if you look at Markkanen, Mobley, and Garland, those 3 will give the Jazz trouble. And then I don't know what you get from Jared Allen in this game. Because the other question is, where are we at on Hassan Whiteside now? Now that and you're seeing why he came at the price that he came at to the Jazz. Because I think now that you're looking at him being bumped up to your number 1, to your rim protector, you're seeing why he isn't a number 1 center in the NBA. Because mentally he fatigues very quickly, and he can be had physically. He goes off in the first half the other night, and then you really don't see him the rest of the game. And in the fourth quarter, he got beat routinely at the rack.
Yeah.
And I think that's why you're seeing that he was so readily available to the Jazz.
Yes.
So you would think that Hassan can hold his own with Allen, right? But Jared Allen's a guy that, he's putting up, the other night, what did he have, 18 and 17?
Yeah, Jared Allen's a guy that's tough. I mean, he's not looking to get into a fight with you, but he's a gritty player. He's not going to be pushed around, and I think that, Jared Allen is somebody who is a great rim protector. He's right up there. And I'm not saying, in terms of defensive player of the year or like total package as a player, but just straight up jumping rim protector guy. He's right up there with the best of them in the league. So that will be really interesting to see. But I think if you're the Jazz, this is not a must-win game by your seasons, measure, but I think for you as a team and where the locker room is at mentally and where what you're trying to do, this is a game you really need to win.
And you're at home. You're back home.
You need after the Piston thing, you need something to feel good about. And
would you agree this is one of the worst road trips that they've had with Quinn Snyder?
Well, and here's the thing. I think the other thing that no one's talking about is this team is allowed to struggle at some point, and this is the thing that I think needs to be said. we have to be careful with, hey, burn the whole thing to the ground because they lost to the Pistons. But the way you lost to the Pistons raises some pretty serious questions. So, I just think that this team needs something to feel good about right now. They need, even if you beat this team by 25, great. Now, we're back to what we were doing,
It'd be
that's
nice,
what this game's about.
It would be nice to beat the Cavs by 25 and have Donovan score 50.
Yeah, it would be nice to have Donovan on SportsCenter after posterizing Jared Allen,
Yeah. And that's one, it's interesting you bring that up because I meant to talk about this yesterday. A lot of people are wondering how explosive Donovan is right now. Can he dunk on dudes? Can he go to the rack and throw it down on a guy? I don't know the answer to that question.
I think to dunk on a guy, he can do that, but I think he's not high flying the same way a Ja Morant is, or any other high flyer you want to look at. I think Donovan used to be a little bit earlier in his career, but I think he's changed as all great players do. I think his game is maturing, and I think when you go through that process, you understand that the mid-range is much more valuable to you than dunking on a guy.
Well, and dunking on dudes generally shortens your career. I mean, you are going to wind up getting injured there. Yeah. But it was just an interesting conversation on Twitter the other night of whether or not, because Donovan, he had a couple of dunks the other night, but they were like, let me get my fingertips
just
over
barely
the rim.
Over the rim.
Right? So there were some people talking about that. But listen, I am still firmly in Donovan Mitchell is a superstar. I am on that train. This is one of the other conversations that's come out of the last week. Mm-hmm. Is Donovan Mitchell really a superstar? I'm going to say yes, but I need this next 3 months, I think, is critical to his career. I think the next 3 months for Donovan Mitchell, he has got to be healthy, and he has got to have a playoff run. Mm-hmm. I think it's a really critical moment in time because if I look across the West of the Western Conference, I think the Lakers, the Clippers, I think the Suns are going to make a big trade. I just don't think they're going to stand pat. Mm-hmm. I think they're really thirsty to get back to the finals. I think the Nets are going to make a trade. I think this is going to be one crazy MFing trade deadline. Yeah. That's coming up here. I think in the next week you're going to start seeing trades because what is today? Today's January 12th. Yeah. You're a month away from the trade deadline. Yeah. You're going to start seeing these because you've seen little trades. You've seen the Oni trade for a roster spot, and you're seeing that the Jazz. I would not be surprised. House is not going to get a second 10-day. No. Right? I mean, I think you're going to see the Jazz and many other teams make significant trades. And when I think about the Chicago Bulls, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday in Chicago talking about they're out looking for a big. Yeah. Because they know Nikola Vucevic is not that dude. He's not that guy, right? So when you hear about all of these teams and you see the highlight video of Russ shooting air balls on bank shots. Yep. And how bad he's been. LeBron supposedly is losing his shit behind the scenes hey, I'm not getting any younger. We're supposed to be winning a championship. I think this trade deadline is going to be crazy. Yeah. And the Jazz need to be part of that. All right, let's get your conversation. Let's get you into the conversation here. eBay the Sofa Surfer says, wow, got in at the start. What's up, eBay?
What's up, dude?
James Knight says, morning, guys. Let's get the Jazz hysteria hour going.
Bro, why you say stuff
why
like
you
that?
Be hating?
Why say something that, dude?
I don't think we've been hysterical. Brylark says, morning, boys. Brylark, where you been, dude? Edgar Garcia says, what's up, players? Edgar, good to see you. eBay says, Jazz will close the road trip strong versus Cavs and Pacers. Well, they already did. Am I wrong that they're at home, right?
Thought they were, but
this is not in Cleveland. I thought this is a home game. Why are you playing with my mind like that? Let's see. It's Pacers and Celtics. The Jazz are home. Yeah, that's a home game. 7:00 Mountain Time tonight. Yeah. Why are you playing with me like that? Making me think I'm crazy. Greg Hawkins, what's up? He says, just finished my stream, hopping right over to the Monty Show. Hell yeah. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
What's up with you, man? We got to know about your stream. I'd have watched. I didn't know you were streaming. Hit me on the DMs on Insta.
Slide
Hawkins.
into his DMs.
Stop. He's a model and a TV star. You show some respect.
Hey.
He's a big-time dude. People think I was joking. Somebody DM'd me yesterday Larry DM'd me yesterday asking me if Greg Hawkins was really a TV guy. Yes.
Yeah, he's for real.
And he's like a model. Follow him on Instagram.
I'm for real.
Let's see. James Knight says, how about the flog Booker crying about a mascot?
Wow.
Like you can. Are you referring to my guy as a flog?
What does that even mean?
I have no idea. I don't know. Tanner Plummer says, guys. Greg Hawkins, what's your stream? Tanner wants to know. DeMar is the MVP and then Embiid. Joel Embiid is, and I pause because Joel Embiid is added to his game.
Yeah.
You need a major bag alert on this. He's
Yeah, dude,
added. He's put some more tricks into his bag. Yeah, man. Joel
He's getting
Embiid,
better.
that little step back to his left is buckets.
Yeah, it's deadly.
It is buckets now. And he's always had that little, hey, I'm a huge dude that can cross over.
Yeah.
Ha, ha, ha.
Little handle.
But now it's a crossover into a step back that's legit.
Yeah, he
a
can
knockdown.
make it. He can make it.
That's a knockdown for him, for sure. Kelsey Hamer, good morning to you. Can we admit Shaq was right about Rudy Gobert in his contract? Kelsey says, we disrespected Shaq's opinion because his take was real. Rudy has no place making that money. Would Rudy make that one on the Lakers? No, and the record is trash. We've
had that conversation.
We've gone down that rabbit hole a million times, but Kelsey, I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, Rudy, you deserve what somebody's willing to pay you. You are worth what somebody's willing to pay you. Dennis Lindsey was willing to pay you on average $40 million a year. So that's what Rudy's value is. Unfortunately, you're paying the luxury tax and you're strapped with that contract probably for another season at least if you wanted to get out of it. And there's no indication the Jazz want to trade Rudy.
Yeah.
If you told me right now that Danny Ainge was like, yeah, I can make that trade, should I? He would.
Yes.
He would.
That's every day.
Yeah, I'm seriously. eBay says Bucks are better. Giannis is just not fair for an opponent. He really is. You're exactly right, eBay. He's unguardable.
Yeah.
Unguardable. Honestly, I feel like the Jazz need an overhaul, Edgar says, with the exception of Donovan Mitchell. At least at that point, you know there is a plan they are working toward.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think Danny Ainge has been on the job for 38 seconds. I mean, we got to give the guy a minute to really – and frankly – he's been on the job this season. He has been involved tracking the team this year. He's just officially gotten the title now. That's why I'm saying I think they're going to be, and I want to be careful about it. People around the NBA believe that the Jazz are going to burn it to the ground. People around the NBA believe that they're going to overhaul this roster, that there's either going to be a major deal at the deadline or they are going to really fire sale in the summer.
You have a deal.
And I think that you're going to be Rudy and Donovan for the foreseeable future.
Well, I mean that's just where you are. I mean, I don't know what other path you would take.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else you do because you're in that terrible no man's land of professional sports.
Yep.
You're not good enough to win a championship, but you're good enough to be mid-table.
Yep.
That's a terrible place to be. And what that tells you is my old axiom of, Dennis Lindsey had no idea who he was and where they were. He had no idea. And I think Danny Ainge has a very clear grasp on who the Utah Jazz are and where they sit.
Yeah.
And that's why I think you're going to see he's going to tear this thing down because, and to be gentle, I think Ryan Smith didn't become a billionaire by being an idiot.
Yeah.
Rich guys don't stay rich by being stupid. He's not going to keep paying the luxury tax to the tune that he is now. I don't think he has any problem paying the tax, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But why would you if you don't have to?
Yeah, you wouldn't.
And why would you if it's not bringing you championships?
Agreed.
So,
yeah, 100%.
I don't know. What would be funny after all the dust settles in the trade deadline? Jazz get Westbrook, Ben Simmons, and Dennis Schroeder. That would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with this Schroeder-Richardson deal that's being talked about with Boston. I don't know how real that is. NBA people that I talk to say Boston only signed Dennis Schroeder to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably true. But what do the Jazz want with Dennis Schroeder?
Yeah, I think
beyond an expiring contract.
Yeah, I mean, sure, I guess that's a nice little pickup, but I don't think that Schroeder and going and doing that deal really accomplishes, what you're looking for. So I don't know. I tend to agree. I don't think I would want any part of that. I don't really want any part of the Ben Simmons Tobias Harris sweepstakes. That just doesn't seem.
I crunched a lot of numbers on Ben Simmons yesterday. There's no way the Jazz can afford him. And again, I don't think it's not even that he can't shoot. And I know we went into this in depth yesterday, but it's not even that Ben Simmons can't shoot.
Yeah.
He is mentally weak. He is broken offensively. I don't want to be the guy to prove that he can be reclamated. I don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
Let him go somewhere else and be a project. Like the guard that had the weird shooting motion for
Markelle Fultz.
Yes, Markelle Fultz. I have no idea where he is.
He's in Orlando.
If you say so.
He is.
You know what I mean? Like
he tore his ACL on a jump cut early in the year, and he's recovering.
But you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
he's you don't come back from that.
Yeah.
I can't see him. I don't know. Yep. I can't see Ben Simmons being a productive offensive player in this league, other than attacking Rudy Gobert's chest, which he was very good at when he was actually, playing.
Yeah, and actually knew how to dunk a basketball.
Yeah, come on. I don't know. Greg Hawkins says, yes, I'm really on television, over 50 episodes so far. You go, Greg. Good for you, man. And you're actually, I'm not even being odd about this. You're a really good model, too. Like, if you should follow Hawkins on Insta. Because I'm telling you, the guy, and let me get his name, the real Greg Hawkins on Instagram. After you follow the Monty Show, Monty, the Monty Show, you should follow the real Greg Hawkins. He's a good follow. It's fun to Greg. Good on you, man. Live that life, dude. Eric DeVera says, "What would?" No, I read that one already. Excuse me. James Knight says, "I think the Jazz need to blow the roster up. Start by trading that hack Ingles." Guy, have you been drinking all right? Well, he's in Australia, so it's probably that's fine. Kelsey Hamer says, "Monty, do you trade players for garbage picks to relieve salary and tank, or no?" What I would do here is there's no reason for the Jazz to tank. When you have Donovan Mitchell as your centerpiece, there's no reason to tank. What I would do is I would protect nobody, including Rudy, outside of Donovan Mitchell. I wouldn't trade Donovan. He's a generational talent. And his jump shot is becoming elite. He is becoming an elite three-point shooter. He's growing. You see he's working. Outside of that, there's two things this team has to do. You've got to stop overpaying people on emotion, right? And I love my guy, Inky Johnson, and he is one of the most – he's a motivational speaker. One of the things that he always says is, can you be committed to a process without being emotional about the outcome, the result? Can you be committed to rebuilding this Jazz roster, the process of rebuilding the roster, without being emotional about the players that you're going to trade? Can you not be upset when the Jazz trade Bogey, Ingles,
Royce,
Jordan
Clarkson?
Can you say, okay, I'm committed to this process because this is what we need, and I'm not going to get upset. I'm going to tip my cap to Jordan Clarkson or Joe Ingles for great service, being a great teammate, being a great Jazz man, but we need to make this trade to make this team better.
Pack your shit. Let's go.
Can you be unemotional about the result? The result. Commit to the process to understand that this is how you'll win 3 championships in 5 years. Because if you burn this roster down and you keep, even if you wind up keeping Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell together, can you be fine with that? I'm telling you, I don't see any way that this team wins a championship with Rudy Gobert's contract on the roster.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I think that he's a hell of a defensive player, but he is so limited on everything else outside of that.
Yep.
And I look at other bigs around the league that are versatile. If Rudy Gobert was his defender, but he had Kevin Love's skill set,
well, he'd be an MVP.
Yeah. That's why he's not an MVP.
Yeah.
If Joel Embiid was on this team, now you're having a different conversation.
Yep.
But he's not, so you're not. I'm at this point where I am as sure as I have ever been that this is not a championship caliber team.
Yeah.
They weren't last year. They're not this year. They're the exact same team they were, and they've been. And now Danny Ainge is here, and I expect the Jazz to do things differently.
Yeah, agreed.
I really do. Couple other comments in here. Do you guys listen to Locked On Jazz? I do not.
Nope.
I do not. Robbie Farr says best teams in order: Suns, Warriors, Nets, Bucks, Jazz, Bulls. You put the Bulls behind the Jazz, so you think the Utah Jazz are better than the Chicago Bulls?
It's tough. It's really tough.
When they were head-to-head, they weren't better. And I think that the Bulls do exactly what the Jazz cannot do. The Jazz cannot defend athletic wings, and all the Bulls have are athletic wings.
Yeah.
The Bulls' single biggest weakness is they are not tough in the middle. They don't have a big. Derrick Jones Jr. is their best big. And he's not really a big. He's a power forward who's a pretty good defender. Vucevic is soft and can easily – Rudy's a better center than Nikola Vucevic is.
All day.
So, I mean, to me, I just think the Bulls are a better fit in that matchup than the Jazz are. I'm not saying you're wrong. The Jazz are still really a good team despite the slide perimeter defense is a problem, though. Correction, I put Memphis over Chicago. So then
I think Memphis is top 3 in the league right now.
I mean, I have no problem with Suns and Warriors are interchangeable at the top.
Yeah.
I put Suns, Warriors, Memphis, Milwaukee. Actually, Suns, Warriors, Milwaukee, Memphis, Brooklyn.
Jazz.
Chicago.
Okay. So
Then
the
the
Jazz
Jazz.
are the 7th best team.
Yeah, in my opinion. It's 1:05 a.m. on a warm, balmy night. Why would I drink several 4Xs? LOL. I have no idea.
Boy.
Cam Harrison says, good morning, boys. Shout out to Mo Bamba.
Mm-hmm.
Jake.
Yeah.
He asked for
Shout out to Mo Bamba.
Thank you.
Yeah, I got you.
Kelsey Hamer says, thank you for your service, Monty. We appreciate your Jazz guidance. Yeah, they
Thanks.
don't, you know.
Hey, man. Like, not everybody's willing to do it. So
Yeah.
we got to do it.
We have been nails on the Jazz. I
Yeah.
would agree with that.
Yeah. Is Kelsey new to the show?
Kelsey, yeah, are you new to the show? I don't remember. I think not first time, but newer time. What's going on with the watch there?
Well, so the burritos showed up like 20 minutes ago, and I texted Mrs. Monty 20 minutes ago, and she just now read my text. So she put them in the oven to keep them warm.
Oh, okay. I like
to
it.
rewarm them.
Jake bought us Beto's breakfast burritos.
I'm for real.
You're a stud.
Yeah, I know.
You're a stud.
I know. Yeah.
Their pico salsa burrito is undefeated.
Yep.
I just hope everybody knows that.
Facts.
Robbie says, I like Chicago, but I think this is the year for one of them being really. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. How good is that Mo Bamba drop? Really good.
Shout out to Mo Bamba.
Really good.
Yeah.
You know what? I don't think the Bulls are championship quality. I don't even think they're the best team in the East. I mean, their record is, but what has that ever meant? I just think that they match up exceptionally well with the Jazz.
They have answers late in the game that gets them wins that other teams cannot get.
Yeah, and DeMar DeRozan is probably the best mid-range player in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
I mean, hit the fadeaway he hit last night. I don't know how you do that.
Spin move, baseline, pure, like everything.
I don't know how you do that.
It's beautiful to watch, man.
If the Jazz had that kind of mid-range player, you'd be winning.
That's what I'm saying. What do we keep saying? If the Jazz had this, if the Jazz had that. Blow the damn thing up. Like, just be done with it.
That's what Bogey's missing, frankly.
Yeah.
If Bojan Bogdanovic had a mid-range...
He is much more spot up than one-on-one guy.
Has Mike Conley hit the wall?
I mean,
Have we...
guess.
Are we... This was another Twitter debate yesterday. Is Mike Conley now firmly on the decline? And I think offensively, Mike Conley has had a career year. I think he's never, in my opinion, I don't recall him ever shooting the ball this well. But I do see that there are times where he just can't move well.
yeah.
And I don't know if that's old age. I mean, the guy's shooting 42.4% from three.
Pretty good.
He's shooting 46% from the floor. I mean, I don't know. I mean, his 3-point attempts are down. He's taken less than 6 a game.
Like, I mean, what do we expect from this guy? What is he? 50 years old at this point? How old is he? What's his age?
30. What is Mike?
35?
Let me look it up.
34?
Mike Conley Doesn't that tell me dadgummit, Michael J. Conley is 34 years old.
He's 34.
It's actually Michael Alex
he's
Conley.
he's in his mid-30s now. I don't. I mean, what do we expect from this guy? Again, everyone was like, "Oh, well, we got to re-sign Mike Conley so we can run it back." Because if we were healthy, we would have beat the Clippers. And it's like, no, you wouldn't have. You wouldn't have.
Yeah, he's a vet. I think you trust in him.
You look around this roster, and you've got a bunch of dudes who are good enough to be on a playoff team, but are not good enough to win a championship. And that's the really tough part.
But then that's why I go back and I ask, has Rudy Gay been what you needed him to be?
I guess not. I don't know. I can't definitively say yes, but I don't know what you needed him to be because he was never going to be a defensive stopper like everybody said.
But no. But let's be honest, though. That's why he was brought here to be your small ball center.
Yeah.
And he has not been able to do that. And Hassan has not been able to play with. Those two together have not been good.
Yeah, it hasn't been what you thought it would be. That's true.
So it's a really small sample size. Obviously, with the injuries, Rudy hasn't played as much as you would like. But I worry. Mike Conley, I think Mike Conley's an incredibly important guy on this team just based on salary alone.
Yeah.
I think you need Mike Conley. You need to make sure he gets his minutes off. You need to make sure that.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really been seeing hey, we're going to sit him back to back and everything. That was a thing in the early season, but not now.
I think he's playing 1 minute less a game this year than he was last year. But it's what Kevin Durant said.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm not worried about my minute load. Let me die on the floor. Great. Like Kevin Durant was asked if he's playing too many minutes. He's like, no, let me die on the it's amazing. I just think.
I mean, if you're not going to die on the basketball floor, what else are you doing? I mean, that's your whole purpose as a human.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Mike Conley's probably against the wall.
Yeah.
I think you are going to see decline coming. Be honest, guys, did you have the Bucks winning it this time last year? Well, I think we had them winning the East or competing for the top of the East, but
it's impossible to say who's actually going to win the championship. I mean, the seeding matters and, how your matchups and there's so many variables. But no, I mean, I don't think everybody was like, oh, well, the Bucks are the clear-cut favorite,
Yep. Chris Karn says, I heard Bezos and just woke up. I'm listening today, but half asleep, up all night with a sick 10-year-old. Oh.
Here we go.
Chris, I'm sorry to hear that. One of the guys I work with has two young children, I think 2 and 7.
Mm-hmm.
They both have COVID. They are both home all day. And I have no idea how you do it as a parent.
The coronavirus.
I mean, this kid over here is my only one. And there's a lot of times where I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, well.
Because I couldn't do it. Like the challenge of being a parent right now, even if you work from home, having your kid at home or, not having your kids be able to go to daycare or school because they have COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And so many youngsters have COVID right now with this Omicron
I try to
thing.
stay calm and not curse.
I'm telling you, being a parent is a calling. It is a full-time job on itself. And I have so much respect for the battle that parents are facing right now. My God.
That's true.
You have half the world that wants their kids in school and the other half that doesn't. It's amazing. It is amazing. Let's see. Devera says Bulls won't make any big trades this season. They will wait next season depending on how they fare in the playoffs. And that's a realistic tack to take. But I think the Bulls are keenly aware that they have a big man problem.
Yeah.
They just can't protect the rim.
Yeah.
And if you think about their 3 best players, and Jake knows I obsess over the Bulls. I watch pretty much every minute of every game. If you look at what DeMar, Zach LaVine, and Lonzo Ball are giving them, they're getting elite shooting performances out of those guys. Lonzo Ball is giving them big, big performances. But after that, you're just a bunch of also-rans. Their defense is taking a big hit. Obviously, and I don't want to say the name because Jeremy Bolton may be listening. But they miss Alex Caruso. I think they have really obviously, been hit hard by the COVID protocols, but we have not seen the best out of this team yet.
Yeah.
And I think once they get all their guys back from COVID, and I think there's a real good chance that they try to make a move. I mean, Vucevic just has been so mediocre.
Yeah.
For
inconsistent.
Them. And this has really been a problem probably for 4 years. You haven't had a legit big in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even think back to
Joakim Noah was the last, definitive big you had.
Yeah, probably. I don't disagree with that. I would think so. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what that looks like.
Yeah.
Everyone that has left the Lakers has really performed well in the past 3 years. Well, look at Kyle Kuzma. And this is another interesting thing about the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Kuzma, Ingram, Lonzo Ball, those guys needed to get away from the Lakers to prosper and grow.
Yeah.
I look at the way that Brandon Ingram hit that shot last night to win the game for New Orleans. That's who he's been.
Yeah.
The guy that you're looking at right now, if you said, hey, who got away, is Julius Randle. Julius Randle is a stud. And he's a guy that is in demand. That's the guy that if I'm Rob Pelinka or if I'm Jeannie Buss and I'm looking back on, hey, how did we get here? You wish you had hung on to Julius Randle. I think Lonzo had to go to grow. I think Kyle Kuzma was never going to emerge from the Lakers because he's not a guy that was ever going to be the third. And if you look at Kuz's game, Kyle Kuzma is a guy that loves to shoot the three, but now he has the freedom to do what he wants.
Yeah.
Like on the Lakers, if you're not Anthony Davis or LeBron James, you have to really play conservative. And you have to be willing to stand in the corner and hit the three.
Gotta know your role.
Yeah, exactly. You got to know your role.
role.
And Kuz was never a guy in LA that was going to stand in the corner and consistently shoot a three.
Yeah, Kuz wants to be the guy.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to feel like he's one of the most important players.
Yeah.
And in Washington, he is.
Yeah, and he's putting up numbers. He is.
He is on an incredible run.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Lakers, the reason they've been able to make those trades, they drafted really well.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon Ingram's is never going to be a superstar just because of his demeanor. He's a really low-key, laid-back dude.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to have him on the Jazz. God, can you imagine
That's the kind
his
of
skill
scoring
set
you need.
and
Yeah.
his game on the Jazz with Brandon Ingram? Even Josh Hart's an interesting guy. Like he is. They drafted really well, but they turned that into a bubble championship, by the way.
Yes.
But you let guys like Cantavius Caldwell-Pope go. Cantavius shot them into the playoffs and really helped them get through that championship run. That's what this Jazz team lacks. They need that growth. I'm telling you right now, the Lakers are going to be a different team. By the time we get to LA, we're going to LA for the last 2 weeks of February.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we get to LA, that roster is going to look completely different.
Well, hope so.
After the street closed Davis.
Yeah, I don't see any way around that. They're just not good
Yeah,
enough.
it's good to see Anthony Davis in a knee brace. That's nice. It's really nice. Really
Guy's
good.
always hurt. I don't know what happens when LeBron retires.
They have to start over.
Because I think you have this year and next year that you can really count on him to be a focal point of your offense, LeBron. But after that, it's a crapshoot. The guy has defied father time. He's 57 years old.
Yeah.
And he's still playing really well. But Anthony Davis ain't that guy. He's not the guy I want to build my franchise around.
Yeah, he's hurt too much.
He's not. He is.
All right.
Yeah. By the way, did you see that Zion Williamson had a DM live video leak?
I didn't. What did he do?
He's DMing chicks, like getting into their DMs on video. It's awkward. Zion Williamson is one of the biggest busts in the history of the NBA, and nobody wants to talk about it.
Nope. Nobody wants to say it. Nobody wants to admit it.
And they should just say, Monty, you were right again.
Mm-hmm.
Zion Williamson's a bust.
So get your facts straight.
He is an absolute positive bust. I don't know that I can still say that they want to build their franchise around him. New Orleans wanted to build their franchise around him.
Yeah. You should, and the truth is, you should have drafted Ja Morant.
Yeah,
But you
I
didn't.
don't. How are we not getting an Anthony Street Clothes Davis drop? Brylark wants to
I
know.
just played
You
it,
just
dude.
played it.
What you mean, man? I just played it.
Devera
After
says
the
that.
street closed Davis.
Yeah, Devera says I'd rather have Caruso than Kuzma now. Ooh, Kyle Kuzma's a far more dynamic player.
But he doesn't fit in on teams better than Caruso does.
Well, and Alex Caruso is just that glue guy. He's Joe Ingles.
Yeah.
I mean, he is that guy that's going to hit a big three, and he is an elite defender. Like, he is in your head, bro. He is an elite defender.
Like Joe was in Paul George's head.
Stop it. Stop it. Funny how they said Zion was supposed to be the next Jordan.
It's ridiculous.
James Knight says, I think Pascal has shown he could get more minutes. Pascal and Elijah Hughes. I think this run for the Jazz has been not good for Quinn Snyder.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a bad look.
It certainly has not helped his status. Yeah, anyway. All right. Should we talk real quickly? Wow, we're 46 minutes into the show.
Dog.
I love talk. I could talk NBA all day. I absolutely love it. NFL coaching vacancies.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick. By the way, hit our affiliate links below. Make sure you hook us up. By the way, I know we said we weren't going to mention it, but we have big stuff coming. I'm not going to say what it is, but we have big stuff coming to the show.
We're coming through.
Big stuff coming.
We're coming through.
What is if you could have any job in the NFL that's open? So let me refresh your memories.
Yeah.
The Chicago Bears.
The Bears.
Bears, Raiders, Broncos.
The Raiders.
Jags, Dolphins. I still can't believe they fired Flores. Vikings. New York Giants. And probably the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, the Seahawks would be the best opportunity to win. But I think legacy-wise, I think the person who takes the Bears and the Giants back to the postseason consistently, you're a legend, dude. You're an absolute legend.
Is the Jacksonville Jaguar job remotely better than the Chicago Bears job?
No.
Okay, so whoever Judy Batista is
Judy
at NFL.com, NFL Network, here's
She's
how
a
she
bum.
Yeah, she's a bum. She ranks the Raider job number 1. I actually don't disagree with that. I think the Las Vegas Raider job is better than the Bears job right now.
Yeah, but you can't tell me they're firing Buddy, dude. Come on.
Oh, he will not be back. That job will be open. I mean,
That's wild, dude.
He's done a nice. Rich Basica has done a nice job. Bisaccia,
I think it's Bisaccia.
whatever. Hey, that prick has done a nice job. Rich Bisaccia. It's Bisaccia.
In Vegas.
He should get an interview. He should get consideration. They shouldn't hire him. They shouldn't hire him. He's not a head coach in the NFL. You should not hire him. I think the Raider job is the best open job. I think, purely from opportunity, I think the Chicago Bear job is now here's the litmus test. If they hire a general manager before the coach. If you interview for the Bears job and they don't have a GM, I would not take that job.
Well,
because your relationship, the coach-GM relationship,
huge.
Is pivotal.
All the best teams have a head coach that does the team's bidding. It's just that simple. And so, the GM, with all due respect, yeah, sure, you may be higher up the food chain than the head coach, but if in a winning organization, the head coach is making all the moves and the GM just facilitating.
Yeah. I think the Bears job is number 2.
Yeah.
I think the Dolphin job is number 3, even though they fired Brian Flores.
Which was shocking.
But from what the reports are now, Brian Flores and Tua Tagovailoa, or excuse me, I think it's pronounced Vailoa. I could be wrong. Tua Tagovailoa and Brian Flores had a huge fight. Like a huge fight at halftime of a game.
So you're dolphining and you're taking Tua's hip over Brian Flores.
I'm sorry, did you say dolphining?
Yeah, dolphining. You're not good at footballing.
Stephen Ross, who the owner is in Miami.
Yeah.
I think he's a wild card. But, man, that's a good job. They've shown they can win. They've shown they'll spend money.
They've shown they can beat the Patriots consistently.
Well, that's the one odd thing. The Patriots can't go to Miami and win, and I don't know why. So I like that job. I think the Viking job, here's the job that I think is fascinating. Is the Minnesota Viking job a good job?
Yeah, it can be a good job. The problem is that you have a situation with Cousins where he's, again, it's the same thing as the Jazz. You're decent enough to take a team to a potential postseason berth, but you're not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. That's not who you are or have ever been. And so, again, I think if you're a head coaching candidate, the last thing you want to get yourself into is a situation where you're going to be mediocre for 4 seasons and then you're out.
And the reason the Vikings will be mediocre is they have put a lot of money into that defense and it hasn't worked.
Yeah.
And so you're going to have to rework your cap. but that division's so wide open. I mean, it's wide open, which is another reason I like the Bears job. But you have so much money tied up in your defense, but you also have Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, who are two great talent.
Like, you have names, but you're not good enough.
Yeah.
It's wild.
I think that the Giant and Jag job are the two worst jobs that are open. I think the New York Giant job is a death sentence. And it's because their ownership and their management are terrible. I mean, and you're shackled with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley, who are not Dak Prescott and Ezekiel Elliott. You know, you have almost no cap space. I think they have just as much or a little less than Minnesota.
Yeah.
You know, but you're going to have 2 top 10 draft picks, but the ownership there is garbage.
Yeah.
So I think I would probably go with the Raiders 1. I think that Bears job is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins are number 3. I think the Vikings are number 4, and then any other job is the Bronco job is a problem because the team's going to be sold.
Well, it's going to be sold, and they're just mediocre every year. There's no that team, that organization just doesn't have the feel.
Before their owner died, and when he was of sound state of mind, I mean, it's been a really difficult 7 years.
Yeah.
They competed every year.
Yeah.
I mean, Horseface was their quarterback. Terrell David. Like, I mean, they have a Super Bowl lineage there. They have history and tradition.
Yeah, I know.
Now you have to rebuild that. You might want to find a quarterback who can quarterback, but they have an opportunity to win.
You're talking about a guy in fucking Elway who literally said, hey, I'm so bad at being a GM, I'm going to fail upwards and become the president of football ops.
But even failing upward, he went and got Peyton Manning and they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Wow.
Think about the Von Miller. Like, they spend money. They do what's got to be done to get done what you want to get done.
Get it. Yeah. I'm not.
Let's just see who the owner is.
I'm not taking the Bronco job over.
Well, you're not taking the Bronco job over the Giants.
Well, it's like, are you taking the Bronco job over the Viking job? You know, are you taking the Bronco job over
the Jag job?
The
yes.
Jag job.
The Bronco job over the Giants job? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. You wouldn't do that.
I think it's close, dude. I don't think it's definitive. I think it depends on, you know, the GM setup and really what they're expecting of you. Because that's the other thing that never gets talked about, I feel like, in NFL coaching circles and or in coaching hiring season is like what's ownership telling you the expectation is. Like, you know, there was thought yesterday that Joe Judge was not going to be fired, that he got Gettleman retired and he wasn't going to be fired. And then all of a sudden they let him go.
They let him go. But this goes back to the Belichick question we talked about in the vaunted, secretive, highly classified pre-show meeting.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. The Belichick coaching tree is a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
The only guy that you can point to off his tree that's done anything is Nick Saban. And that's been at Alabama.
Roll Tide.
Tornace Gale.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
Ooh.
But if you look at the guys that are coming off of Belichick's coaching tree, I mean, it's not good. Brian Flores,
football season, and all the things that go with it.
Mumbler.
Al Groh,
Who?
Nick Saban,
This is Coach Saban.
Romeo Crennel, Eric Mangini, Josh McDaniels, Bill O'Brien, Matt Patricia, Joe Judge.
Those are names.
What about Mike Vrabel in Tennessee? If he's
done some stuff.
He could be the dude.
Yeah, he's done some stuff.
Right? You know, he could be the dude. But now that Brian Flores got whacked. But he's going to get another job,
oh,
right?
Yeah, he'll get hired. Yeah.
I think he is. And the guy that suffers because of Brian Flores is Eric Bieniemy.
Mm-hmm.
I think Eric Bieniemy would have gotten jobs and conversations.
Mm-hmm.
But now Brian Flores is going to be that guy that people are chasing.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, there's a lot of good candidates. Like the Bears are, excuse me, the Bears are talking to or asked to talk to Doug Peterson, who I think is interviewing today.
Yeah.
That's a good hire. I mean, that's a Super Bowl coach. He took a hapless Philadelphia franchise to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And he's a good, not a great head coach. I have a feeling they're going to interview Brian Flores.
Doug Peterson wouldn't be a bad hire.
He would not.
No, I mean, that's a respectable hire.
You need somebody to develop Josh Fields. That's the only thing in Chicago that matters. So we'll see. I think there's a lot of interest around that job. The Bears' job is a job that people want.
And I feel like there's an expectation that the Bears should be good, or at least better.
They have cap space, man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. Aaron Rodgers is probably in his last year or two in Green Bay. That division is ripe for a dynasty.
You're Aaron fucking Rodgers.
I'm telling you, that division's ripe for a dynasty.
Well, the
dynasty,
Lions with Jared Goff. Come on.
Anyway. But if you look at the Viking and the Bear job, if they get these hires right, you could win. Again, you could win multiple divisions. You could win 5, 6, 7, 8 straight divisions there.
Yeah.
And who knows what the Packers do and how they react.
Yeah.
But, if Aaron Rodgers isn't there.
You're Aaron fucking Rodgers.
Their defense is decent, not elite.
They're an okay team. He carries them.
Yeah.
They're an okay team. They're just all right.
All right, let me get some comments in here.
Yeah. What comments are saying?
I hope Rudy leaves Utah. You don't deserve it. Titus 227 says.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Brylark wants to know if we're dropping merch yet.
Brylark, stop.
Stay tuned. Tanner Plummer says, what do you guys think of Doug Peterson? We just talked about that. I knew. Guys.
Yeah.
When's the slide giveaway? What do you mean
wait,
slide? What do you mean like the Berkeys?
We're not giving the Berkeys away. He just wanted to leave those on the table.
Mrs. Monty bought me Berkeys.
When are you going to start wearing them?
When it's not
like 10 degrees out?
Yeah. True. Josip R says hello from Croatia, Jazz fans. Hey, good to see you. eBay the Sofa Surfer's a jerk because he says go Packers. Brylark says firing Flores was the most Dolphins thing they could have done.
Yeah, they're dolphining, dude. They're dolphining. Come on.
They're dolphining.
Yeah.
Neville93 says, what do you think about Steelers game and the Chiefs and the Cardinals and the Rams? We'll preview all that starting Thursday. Yeah. Oh, wait, that's tomorrow. I love it. By the way, did you guys see that Sunday Night Football is the most watched program back-to-back years in the history
Is
of
anybody
television?
Surprised? It's football, dude. It's Sunday night.
Well, everybody predicted the death of the NFL.
We're all in denial about Monday being here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Chris Karn says Bears need the next Ditka. Hey,
Ditka.
Coach. Ditka.
Yeah.
Bears are the team in Chicagoland area that everyone gets behind. A winning Bears coach is a god in that town.
Yes, he
True.
is. Yes, he is.
Kelsey Hamer says, why you fire Brian Flores? Yeah.
They're dolphining.
Tanner Plummer says, the NFC North is wide open. I hate to say this, but Rodgers' division until he retires. Man, get out of here. It's true, though. Giggity says, a decent QB in Denver, and they would have been a playoff team this year. Truth. Absolutely right. Damn right, Tanner. A-Rod owns the North. Get out of here, eBay. 2011, I have the stock certificate. Here's the question, though. That's cool that he owns the North.
You have the stock certificate.
That's cool that he owns the North, but what are you going to do when they lose again? When they don't win a Super Bowl this year, what are you going to do? He's good. He's not great. He doesn't win Super Bowls. Giggity says, over a decade, congrats owning the Lions, Bears, and Vikings. Yeah, that's not saying much.
Congrats getting torched by Scotty Miller year after year.
Yeah, All right, can we talk about the because we only have about 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the 2024 presidential election? Because I saw an article last night that made a little pee come out. The leading Democratic, well, I'm serious. The leading Democratic name for the 2024 presidential election.
I swear to God.
Say it.
Don't say her name. Why? Why is it her?
Hillary Clinton is the leading
This is a code kind of board.
Come on.
Democratic candidate
Bruh.
for the 2024
Why, dude?
presidential election.
Why?
It is so frustrating that we continue to get, oh, well, Hillary Clinton. And the other name, of course, is Mrs. Obama.
And as you can see, there's not much hope for you left.
And I just don't understand.
I mean, have you not had 10 years to find a new candidate?
Yeah, Mrs. Monty.
Yeah, I'm with you on this, Jake.
Like, what the hell, dude?
Why aren't we, like, I get it when it was against with this last.
Anyway, go ahead.
I get it with the last election that, like, we were limited We had to do something. Why are we dipping back into the Hillary pool?
Because
Like, that just doesn't seem smart at all. Why not?
But who's the leading Republican? Who's the leading Republican candidate for 2024?
Oh, God.
You can say it.
Probably Donald Trump.
Yeah, Donald Trump. Did anybody see what Donald Trump did on NPR yesterday?
Oh, but had a meltdown.
Lost his ever-loving mind.
Yeah.
I
love NPR.
And this is the question about Donald Trump running in 2024, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If Donald Trump runs in 2024, how does he explain January 6th?
Don't be rude.
And how does he explain these false narratives about a stolen election?
Okay.
Fire
here's the
and
thing.
fury.
If you can explain away why you ended up at Four Seasons landscaping instead of a Four Seasons hotel for a press conference, you can explain away anything. If you can explain away groping women, raping women, if you can explain away, cheating businesses out of being paid.
I don't think there's any way to explain away the election lie. And this is it. He goes on his first major interview, is NPR.
Yeah.
And he melts down and hangs up on the guy. And it's because the guy was asking him about what, the great lie of 2020.
Yep.
And he didn't want to own that.
Yep.
And he didn't even get a chance to ask him about January 6th. I don't know listen, I think there's a lot of love for Donald Trump in certain circles of this country. I don't know anybody that would vote for him. I seriously don't know. I can't believe he'd be able to win that election.
I don't think I knew anybody who would vote for him the first time. And I'm hoping it doesn't happen again. It doesn't make any sense to me why we're dipping back into the Hillary pool and the Donald pool.
And we were saying
not have
that.
anybody.
Yeah, well, and we were
step up.
exactly. We were saying that. Jake's got the list of the betting favorites.
Yeah. Okay. So Donnie is plus 300. Okay,
so he is the odds-on favorite at plus 300.
Sleepy Joe Biden is plus 450.
Okay, now
No.
Joe Biden has been an incredible disappointment as a president.
He has, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He continues to say, my wonderful president, Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm. Which she's plus 700.
He continues to call her the president.
Mm-hmm.
With
terrible,
all due respect,
dude.
he just is the disaster that is the shortage in COVID testing. Like he's just been
unacceptable.
a disappointment.
It is unacceptable that there is this much happening.
Anyway, okay.
A couple other names.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis plus 800.
Ron DeSantis, the disappearing governor of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an antibody cocktail. It's
exactly right.
Yeah, and then
could you see yourself voting for Ron DeSantis?
No,
I could not.
Nope.
I could not.
I can't see myself voting for anybody on this list, dude. And that's the shame of it.
But you'll get a lot of a Florida man that will vote.
Yes,
yeah.
I would agree with that.
For Ron DeSantis.
Yeah, a Florida man. That's exactly right.
How dumb do you think
pretty dumb if you're a Florida
pretty
guy.
dumb.
Okay,
dude.
more names on that list.
Yeah, so, all right. So, Ron DeSantis is plus 800.
No.
Then there's a really steep fall off, okay? Now, the next name, Nikki Haley, plus 2,000.
No.
Good old Pete Buttigieg at plus 2,000.
I think he's got some momentum. I mean,
Mike Pence, plus 2,500.
oh, fuck off. No.
Elise Stefanik, plus 4,000.
Who the hell is that guy?
Michelle Obama, plus 4,000.
Would you vote for Michelle Obama? I'd vote
for her over Hillary. I can tell you that.
Yeah, well, certainly. I think there is emotion. There is romanticism. There is
For sure. Yeah.
a belief in the Obama name. I think she could run and do quite well.
Yeah.
But I don't think she wants to run.
I don't think she does either.
No.
But I will say that there has been a lot of talk recently in Democratic circles that the Obamas feel a duty to remain involved in politics in the country because of the state of the country.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the black community would rally around Michelle Obama, but I also think Latinos.
Mm-hmm.
I also think women.
Mm-hmm.
I think she would have a very difficult time in the MAGA communities. I think Georgia is becoming a really bloody state. Like the battle that's going to go on in Georgia for politics in the election cycle is going to be
gnarly,
incredible. And by the way, Stacey Abrams did not show up for Joe Biden's speech on voter rights yesterday. And she's the reason that he won the election, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
It is going to be very, very interesting.
All of that to say, it's just frustrating that there's not a new name. There's not fresh blood.
Why isn't it?
And
though?
I don't get it.
Why is it? But I think it is largely because your generation and the generation that immediately preceded you, Gen Z, has not invested in the political machine in this country.
Nope.
I mean, and I think a lot of it is because there's just no way to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But for Republicans and conservatives, it's guys like Paul Ryan, the former Speaker of the House, the Wisconsin Republican.
Where's he been?
That's the guy you need. Because if you look at everybody else, guys like Jim Jordan is incredibly tainted with the Penn State scandal and the Ohio State scandal.
Well, and for a while there, you had a guy like Andrew Cuomo who was like the sweetheart, and then all that stuff happened.
He turned out to be a sexual deviant.
Yeah,
I think we're at a point now where I truly don't believe that Donald Trump could win, and I don't know that he could win a nomination. Not the president. I think he's more dangerous if Donald Trump runs in 2024, and I don't think he will, frankly. But if he gets past the nomination, if he is nominated to be the Republican candidate for president in 2024, we're all fucked. Because he has a really good shot to win. I don't think that the Republican Party will get behind him being president, their candidate. Because if you're a Republican and you support Donald Trump, I'm telling you, you're going to lose the Senate and the House, even though, frankly, they don't have control of the Senate now, even though they have the numbers. They don't. But if they get firm control of the Senate and the House, because, by the way, the other story here that nobody's talking about is that Nancy Pelosi is being pushed out by the Democrats, which is far overdue.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be interesting to see where the House goes in the midterms,
Yeah.
because that's going to really decide who's a hot candidate. If you're somebody that can lead through the mess that's the House and the Senate, you all of a sudden become a much better profile for 2024 and 2028.
And as you can see, I'm going through some shit right now.
Anyway.
Good
Yes,
talk.
you were.
Yeah, good talk.
So I'm getting COVID tested today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my wife Mrs. Monty doesn't think I should be.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be. But
You don't think so?
no.
You bought tests. Why not just do those?
Because they're so far behind. Those tests won't be here until February. So, but the reason I'm getting tested is I have this persistent cough that won't go away.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys are telling me I shouldn't worry about that, but I have a persistent cough that won't go away, and I feel great. Last night was another really good night of sleep. Although I think NyQuil, taking NyQuil Severe, brings me closer to nighttime pee guy.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, sure.
It does.
Not me, man.
Yeah.
NyQuil makes
out.
me sleep like a rock.
Well, I'll tell you, it was weird. I had a dream. So you stayed up late to talk to your mom on the phone.
Mom?
How did that go, by the way?
It went good. You know what, man? Life's weird. Life's just weird. And when
Why?
your adult parent starts dating and then moves in.
So the odd thing
and-
is, Britt's mom went to Maui with us back in November, which feels like a year ago.
Yeah, seriously.
And we had all kinds of really important life conversations, right?
Yeah, I've been immunized.
So essentially, your mom has been dating this guy. Exactly. Your mom's been dating this guy. Sort of. We come back from Maui. She goes on a road trip to Moab and Zion and with her new boyfriend.
Go Hawks.
And she never went home. She moved into this dude's house, and they're now going to do some ceremony where they're getting not legally married,
we'll
but
call
they're
it conscious coupling.
Yeah,
Sort of
they're-
like Gwyneth Paltrow.
I'm for
Conscious
real.
coupling.
Yeah, so your mom's going to use vagina rocks then. But the point is, with Gwyneth Paltrow, the point is that your mom moved in with this dude, and they just decided to get married without legally getting married. And they're going to live together, and it is what it is. And the weird thing is, we had like a family conference call the other day.
I think that's HIPAA.
And your mom announced that he's going to die soon.
Oh my God. I mean, she didn't say that, but she was like,
she kind of said that.
And when he dies, I'll move back into my house.
He's an assassin.
And it was like, well, when is that going to be, man? Like, you got a clock on that?
This guy's what, 76 years old or something?
I think he's
No, I think he's 80.
81.
81?
80.
Fuck me, he is old.
He's either 80 or...
He's 80 years old?
That's it, Skippy.
My mom is like gonna be
73.
she's gonna be 75.
Okay.
This year this year, 75.
So he's 81. He's 6 years older than your mom.
Yes.
Yeah. And I asked the guy on this conference call with the
And
family.
you
the other
question
day.
why she said he was gonna die.
And so I said to them, well, why are you doing it now? And he straight up said, well, we're doing it now because I'm not getting any younger. It's like, oh, God.
I mean,
Which, you know,
I guess I
mean,
get it. Like, I don't think it's bad. I just think the timeline of it all is interesting, you know?
Yeah, I don't know.
What are the comments are
It
saying?
felt quick.
Eric Tavera says Monty gets tested for COVID and comes back positive for pregnancy. Could happen. Could happen. Are they commingling their funds? No, they're not.
No.
No.
I like how that's where everybody's mind goes.
Well, because you're old and you're rich, your mom's not poor, right? I mean, it's just the whole thing is awkward. And the one thing I will say is they don't need anybody's permission to do anything, right? I mean, but it is this life cycle, and I don't know how many people here have older parents or whatnot, but it is this interesting lifestyle where your mom, and your dad pound like porn stars. You become a seed that germinates into a human being. She pops you out her vag. You turn into a child. You turn into a child. You turn into an adolescent. You turn into an adult. You turn into an adolescent, and you die a child.
That's every day.
Because it's just this, it's true. It's this full circle of life where as you get older and you're in your late 70s and 80s, you feel like you got to ask permission to take a dump. You don't. Do what you do you.
Drop a nuke. And
that's what I said. I said to Britt's mom, do you. Do what you got to do. Do what makes you happy. Because tomorrow, when you're 81 years old, you could go to bed and never wake up again and nobody would be surprised.
Well said.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I will say, though, if you're going into an awkward conference call, because that's what this was. It was like a Zoom call. Like there was a group text message. We want to talk to you.
You guys are playing freaking bingo over.
There, you can generate your own bingo card online and make it more fun to see what's going to come up out of this call. So I made bingo cards.
Britt's mom drops like the awkward text message. Hey,
hey guys, hey.
No,
hey guys.
I can't do the Tanner voice.
Oh.
Yeah, can we all get on a family text or thing and then do a Zoom call? Because we have an announcement to make.
Just take it nice and easy, okay? Just relax.
And so immediately Britt and her brother and sister start texting and talking, and Britt makes a bingo card. And everybody's trying to guess at what her mom wants to talk about. And Britt's like, honey, you have to be on this call with me.
My mother specifically asked for us and our spouses.
Yeah. And now Britt's like, okay, well, let's make a bingo card. So we put like urinary tract infection.
What's wrong with you?
Love, commitment, tears,
Marriage,
Hawaii,
blessed,
move,
hula,
blessed, Jesus, like all this stuff on this card.
Yeah.
And everybody got bingo like 7 different ways. It was amazing.
And my brother was aggressive, though. He started off from the get-go. So, Mom, are you thinking about traveling somewhere? Like, maybe are you thinking about going to an island, or he's like trying to get her to say Hawaii. Like he was trying to get her to say like hula, everything.
He's scheming to win that bingo.
Oh my God!
Casey Finlinson wants to know, when does Monty start teaching high school health class? No guessing on the reproductive cycle with that explanation.
If you felt these balls,
I would have so much fun with high school health class.
Oh my God!
Oh my gosh!
All right, today we're talking about Palm Box. Let's get in your seats.
Think that's HIPAA?
It's time to take attendance because we're talking about anal.
Wow! Wow! Wow.
Where is
We
Avon
totally
right
promote
now?
the smoke dope, shrink your rope.
Yeah, hey man, you're gonna smoke that weed, your joint's gonna shrink. Okay, we're gonna test on this later. Like what we do, I don't even know what your homework would be. Your homework is to sign up for OnlyFans, and then write a paper that
You need to see real-world examples of the human physique.
and then write a paper that includes your username and password so I can double check your work.
Whatever.
Anyway.
Wow.
Wow.
So the HIPAA drops are killing it today.
Think that's HIPAA?
Giggity says I'd go back to school for Monty's sex ed class.
Just so you can go to Pound Town.
Tanner says, LOL, I would totally take a Monty health class. Yes, you would. While that Tanner voice is perfect for Rudy Gobert voice or whoever he complains to, whenever he complains to the officials. Exactly. Oui, croissant, no foul. Rudy Gobert is French. Britt doesn't even know who Rudy Gobert is. She hates the NBA. Anyway, play the music because I got to eat my Betos burrito and make more money. There you go.
Bye.
So we're going to LA for 2 weeks.
Oh, I thought it was 3 weeks.
Is it 3 weeks?
Bro.
Well, don't fucking nudge it. Like,
Bro.
you're the one who brought up 3 weeks. You wanted to stay a month. We can go to Mammoth. It's a weekend trip to Mammoth from LA. We could go to Big Bear.
Yeah.
We're not going to miss any shows in LA, though. At least we're going to try.
We're going to do it out of the garage.
Probably. Or in the garage? Probably. All right, there you go. What happened to the politics talk? Let's talk about it. We were talking about it.
Yeah, tune in.
All right, until tomorrow, say goodbye, Mom.
Goodbye, Mom.